Hi, my name is Kinga. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I started making videos right after my divorce last year as a form of self-therapy to help me through the whole grieving process and everything, and also just to document it for myself and my closest friend how I reinvent myself and my whole life, which was pretty necessary. It took me a while to kind of gain momentum, and in one of the future videos I will absolutely talk about how I did that as well, because I'm just getting there. I had to go through a grieving phase and even depression, but now I feel like I'm back on track. And I spent this last weekend in Amsterdam, and I learned something very, very interesting and very useful for myself. I'm not a guru, not a coach, not a none of those spiritual teachers or whatever that you need to necessarily listen to or follow or learn from, but I realized that whenever I'm evolving in the process and learning a lot of new things, and I actually in a very transparent and honest way share it with my friends or whoever is watching these videos, they're very thankful, and some of those people actually find it very useful, and sometimes, or hopefully most of the time, it resonates with them and they feel like they can take away some information. So that's the main purpose of these videos, is to just put my my thoughts out there, my whole process, and hopefully whoever is going through very similar situation in their life could gain something out of it, or I don't know, just feel like they are not alone. So yeah, obviously you have the possibility to like this video, to subscribe to my channel. I cannot force you to do that, but I'm very thankful if you do so, because it kind of gives me a feedback to keep on doing this. Although I have missed quite a few weeks recently, it's because I'm working 2 jobs, plus I'm kind of building my own company, so there's a lot to do here, but stay with me. So in this video, I'm going to use this cheat sheet. I just put some keywords down there just to make sure that I kind of stay on track. I wanted to talk about learning to trust. Learning to trust ourselves, the process, the universe, our higher self, whatever you want to call it, God. Initially, that was not the title I wanted to come up with, because what I actually learned this last weekend, going to Amsterdam, was the word acceptance. And then I kind of realized that it was more than that. It was learning to let go of control. And then I was giving it more thoughts, and then I learned that it's actually learning to trust the process, the universe, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so long story short, I think that everyone that we meet along the way in our lives, even if it's just for a minute or for a relationship or a friendship, or just anyone that you ever meet or talk to or have any connection with, every relationship, every connection is an assignment. It's supposed to show you something, teach you something, or you teach them something, you show them something. There's always something behind it. That's what I believe, and that's what I've been experiencing. So, and since I have this belief, I try to look deeper into every connection that I have, and I try to listen and observe even more. And so I went to Amsterdam, okay? Why did I go to Amsterdam, first of all? I was supposed to go to a workshop, Abraham Hicks workshop. If you don't know Abraham Hicks, you have to Google it. It's, law of attraction, quantum physics and all that. But unfortunately, they had to cancel, because back a couple of weeks ago when they canceled, Americans, Esther Hicks, were not allowed to come to Europe. It has luckily changed by now, but couple of weeks ago it was still like that, so they canceled the workshop, and I already had my bookings, my flight, Airbnb, accommodation, everything. So I thought, okay, let me just keep it, let me just go to Amsterdam anyway and enjoy, have fun, explore the city, and then see what happens. Prior to going to Amsterdam, I made a friend online who lives in Amsterdam, who was born and raised in Amsterdam. Hi Dwight, I know you're watching the video, so this is you obviously. And we were talking a lot, and I felt like I learned a lot from this person just by talking to him and listening to his mental process, which is very different to mine. And there was one particular situation where we wanted to go to our favorite restaurant, Wagamama. I used to go there back in the days, like 20 years ago, when I used to live in London, and it was my favorite place. And when I moved to Sweden about 9 years ago, I went to the Wagamama in Stockholm as well, but it was such a disappointment, I can't even tell you. And when I saw that in Amsterdam, I was like, oh, Dwight, we have to go. Because there's a high chance that it would be better than the one in Stockholm. And I was so getting ready. I was so excited about it, and we were planning, and we just had we had a few errands to run before. And then finally we were on our way, cycling our way to Wagamama. And I already, every time I have a plan, I kind of visualize it. I see it prior to happening. It's like, when I kind of like mentally, emotionally get ready to doing that particular thing. And I already saw us eating at Wagamama and enjoying some really good vegan food. But we got there, we locked our bikes, we walk in, and they say that we are not allowed to go and eat there because none of us were fully vaccinated. This is something we kind of knew, but we were still like taking our chance that maybe. And when this information was told to Dwight, he just turned around and he said, okay, we go to somewhere else. But I kind of froze because every time I kind of plan something and I really want something and I get to be stopped or I receive a no, it's something very, very difficult for me to process. It could be because of my childhood and because of never feeling secure and safe. I want to control situations, and whenever I feel like a situation or an outcome is not how I planned or wanted and it's out of my control to change it or whatever, it feels like I can't process it. And back in the days, in my 20s, I used to act very childish in situations like this because I used to act out my strong inner emotions about this. Like I could throw a tantrum of a 3-year-old. And obviously by now I have learned not to do that, but I can still have a very hard time dealing with my frustration. And at that moment, I was like, so Dwight was asking me, okay, so where shall we go? Where, what other place shall we check out? Or shall we just get takeaway? Because we are allowed to take away and then, we eat it at our place or whatever. And I was like, no, I want to eat here. And I kept saying it, I couldn't let it go, but he said, but obviously we can't, we're not allowed, so we have to move on. We need to find another place or we have to do takeaway. And I'm like, no, I want to eat here. I was feeling like a child inside who just wanted her own way, and no matter what, that's how it has to happen because that's what I was desiring and imagining, and that's what I wanted. And then we went to another place, and for some reason, I thought that at this place we would be allowed to get seated and eat there because they didn't ask for a QR code. But after we made the order, that's when they told us that if we are not fully vaccinated, we are not allowed to eat there. So it had to be a takeaway at the end. And there was another frustration the next day when I was on my way to the airport. Just bear with me. I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you these examples. So the next day, I wanted to get some banana to take with me to the airport because airport food sucks. And my card got rejected at a store. But I really carefully handpicked whatever fruits and banana and everything I wanted. I was happy with my purchase and I was just about to pay. My card got rejected because they said they only accept Dutch cards. And then I went to another place, like a supermarket. I'm like, they can accept my international MasterCard, whatever there. And then the same thing happened. And I was like, I was really frustrated. I was also in a hurry. I'm like, fuck, I just want my bananas. And, but Dwight, handled the situation. He ran to the supermarket, he got the bananas, and then it was all solved. But basically, one evening we were talking about this particular situation, and Dwight said that it's like he doesn't feel that frustration that I'm going through in situations like that. He just, it's not even a challenge for him. And I know, kind of reading up on the 16 different personality types, you know, the four, is it Myers-Briggs with the four letters? And that kind of showed me or made me realize that we are really wired differently. Our brains are wired differently, so we process information and even our emotions and everything differently. So it's totally possible that a certain thing would, you know, cause frustration to one person and then cause nothing to the other. But he just used this word acceptance, you know, like you have to learn to accept things, you know, when they say no, it's just, okay, you just have to move on and look for another way or another solution. And that sounds very logical, and I get it, but it's like, for whatever reason, it could be my personality, my brain wiring, my childhood experience, whatever, it causes a lot of frustration in me when I get into a situation like this. And I'm like, I can't just accept it. I mean, I know that I have to, but it's difficult. So I was thinking that while I was listening to him, I kind of understood that, I mean, you're so right. But I probably, for me, in order to accept it, I have to find a narrative to help me do that switch. And that's when I was like, you know what if we didn't get to eat at Wagamama? Because maybe I wouldn't have liked the food and it could have been a disappointing experience. Or what if, you know, something about the food was kind of wrong and could have given me the runs, you know, whatever. It's like, what if it was the universe or God's way to protect me from something? Or what if this way they guided us to this other place where, although we didn't get to see it there, but at least we got takeaway from there and we got to eat it on the bench. What if that food was much better for the frequency of my body? Like, what if, like as law of attraction says, like attracts like, what if that was the food that my body needed at the time? Or those ingredients, or those veggies, or whatever. Like, there could be so many other reasons. What if this was a way of the universe watching out for me? And if I'm telling this narrative to myself, it really calms me, and it just makes me feel way better and helps me move on. So I find that this would be the trick for me. So if you also struggle with letting go of control, or you know, dealing with being told no or being rejected at something, just try to think of, what if that particular no or rejection took you to a different door, or gave you another or a different opportunity or a different way or a different path that would lead you to something even better. I think that kind of helps to calm us down and move on. And then the next day, no, actually the Sunday evening when I was flying back, it was interesting how this learning to accept, learning to kind of give control over, kind of helped me with flying. I have a very, very strong fear of flying. I actually made a video on how I kind of help myself every time when I have to fly. If you check out my videos, if you also need help with that, check out my videos and find it in the list, because I think it's a pretty useful one. But this time, my flying experience back from Amsterdam to Stockholm was the most chilled out, most relaxed, best ever flying experience I ever had. You have to know that I have so much anxiety and fear and stress and whatever every time I have to fly that, I mean, I have been working on it for, I don't know, 30 or 20 years now, so it has kind of smoothened out. but it used to be like really, really crazy. Like when I was a kid, like 5-6 people had to hold me down and drag me to up to the plane while I was like screaming and shouting like, I don't want this, I don't want this. And then now it has evolved to a state where I cry every time at takeoff. But at least now when we reach the altitude, I actually calm down and I'm feeling okay. But it just, the whole taking off gives me a very special anxiety, fear, panic attack, whatever. So whoever stranger is sitting next to me, I just always, have to grab their arm and, hold on tight. And while I'm crying and I'm thinking, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. I'm just, at the same time, I'm saying, sorry, I'm apologizing. It's a good way to make friends, by the way. But this time, I was so super freaking calm. It was amazing. I amazed myself. And it was a part of letting go control and learning this acceptance and learning to trust the universe, because every time I fly, how I'm trying to calm myself, but I have always failed, apart from this particular one time, is I imagine this bright energy bubble or light around us, around the whole plane, and I was telling myself that I am safe, we are safe, we are safe, we are protected, we are safe. And it worked so well this time that I wasn't even getting any cramps in my stomach. I wasn't getting any physical symptoms of anxiety. My breathing was perfectly normal. I wasn't crying. I wasn't shaking. I wasn't scared. I wasn't like this tensed up. I was just feeling super calm, just like sitting in a car. It was a pretty soothing experience. So I was thinking that we have to let go of control and trust the universe or this higher power. Because if you are giving yourself over to your frustration or negative feeling or even anxiety or whatever, it doesn't serve you, right? And it doesn't change anything. I could have thrown a tantrum at Wagamama or at the fruit shop, trying to buy my banana. I could have thrown a tantrum. Obviously, I would have looked really stupid being a 40 years old doing it, but also it wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't serve me. It would make Dwight think I'm a crazy person, and it wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't change the outcome. And if I'm living my life according to the law of attraction and like attracts like and all that thing, then I have to make sure that the most important thing for me is to maintain a good vibration, a high, positive frequency, because like attracts like. And a proof of that, when we left Wagamama and my vibration or my mentality or everything was about, oh fuck, we got rejected, we are not allowed to eat at a restaurant. The next restaurant we went to, we got rejected again. Funny enough, Sunday when we went for a morning breakfast, brunch, lunch, whatever, to another restaurant with a very positive, happy, sunshine kind of vibration because the weather was really nice, we were not rejected. We were allowed to sit and have our breakfast/lunch there. So, and the banana thing as well. After the first time I was rejected, and I still had this frustration and inner anger inside me, like, I can't even buy a banana. I can't even buy a banana. So I went to the next place. I couldn't even buy a banana. So I should make sure that the priority, or the most important thing for me to do is, even if something or someone pushes out of my alignment, my being in harmony with my higher self, then I need to find the quickest way to get back. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep attracting crap to me or things that I don't want. And this requires trust. Trust in law of attraction and knowing that like attracts like, and whatever vibration I'm emitting is what I'm attracting back to myself. And also trusting this higher something, God, universe, whatever, which is bigger than me, and basically just try to be love, because that's the highest vibration, and that will definitely attract love. And this is something I will like to talk about in my next video, because I have been attracting a tremendous, unexpected amount of love towards me since something very interesting happened to me last year. I had a crazy experience called heart orgasm. Not hard, but heart orgasm. And which kind of opened my heart chakra, and but let me not go into more details on this. I'm going to make another video on how I managed to attract more love to my life from the universe through unexpected meetings, new people, new friends, in the time when I needed it the most, after my divorce, when I was feeling the loneliest, and even up until now. And I'm attracting so many people who are coming with love and honest desire to help me for no particular reason and nothing expected in return. And every time I think about it and all these people I meet and all the opportunities I've been given, it really gets me emotional. So I'm going to make a separate video on how to do that and what all these miraculous events that have happened to me since this heart orgasm. And maybe one day I can make a video on how to achieve that state as well. But now this was the video. Let's not keep it any longer. Feel free to like it, subscribe to my channel, share the video, whatever you feel like doing it. Also, if you have any questions or any feedback that you would like to share with me, feel free to comment down below. Alrighty, hope to see you next week maybe. Bye, take care.